Greetings, everyone. Welcome. It's Friday here on Going Optimal, and we are going to do our usual Friday event, which is a chat gauntlet draft. This means I'm going to be taking on viewers, and in this case, today, a fellow streamer, GGards. We're going to face off with GGards first thing. But what we do is 8 of us humans head over to mtgadraft.herokuapp.com, which you can find in the panels, or sorry, not in the panels, in the links in my YouTube notes if you want to see where this website is and use it yourself. We have a really active Discord server on Going Optimal that uses this website. So if you're looking to do some free arena drafting with some awesome people in this incredible community I've got going on here, you're going to want to head to the Going Optimal Discord, join that, and get in on the action. And we'll show you how it goes here shortly. But basically what I do is we're going to go draft on this third-party website and then export the results over back to Arena and then use the friend challenge system in Arena to basically conduct an in-pod draft, all human in-pod draft on Magic the Gathering Arena, which is a really special thing to be able to do. It's not natively possible in the Arena app itself right now. And there's a lot of people who really enjoy that feeling of knowing that you're going to be playing against what you're seeing in your draft, that in-pod play. And it's incredibly fun for me to battle against my viewers. The prime goal is to see who can get to 4 wins. We're going to play seven games here, and who can win the week with the 4th win. But also there is a side bet going on. If chat can 0-7 me, if I go winless today, I give up control of the fate of the hair from the neck up, except for my eyebrows. I have earned the right to protect my eyebrows. But if I get goose-egged, I must get a hairstyle or haircut or hair butchering of chat's choice. So we'll figure out how to actually execute that should you ever 7-0 me. But my plan is just to never let that happen. That is my plan. Your plan when you need cards for your physical Magic game, though, should be to check out cardkingdom.com. They are my sponsor. They have been for a while now. They are purveyors of physical Magic stuff. Everything you need for your paper game is available at cardkingdom.com at some time or another. They don't have perfect inventory at all times, but their inventory is incredible. They are constantly buying. They're constantly replacing. If a card gets popular and Snap sells out, they immediately raise their prices on their buy list and they seek to get more in stock. And that aggressive buying that they do to maintain their inventory is what you can use to get your value out of your cards, because they have the best buy list in the industry, full stop. Not every single card is necessarily going to be 100% the best, the highest buy price out there, but I've said it again and again, and it has stayed way true. Like, I do a lot of scanning of cards and comparing buy prices. Like, I'm very tuned into buy prices. I would guess that about 75 to 85% of the cards that I scan have a high buy price from Card Kingdom. So that's against the field. Like, 85% Card Kingdom, 15% everybody else. It's really crazy how much they pay for their cards relative to other people in this industry. So that's one of my main points I like to hammer home about Card Kingdom, is that if you're looking to convert your cards into cash, you got to check them out, because they are most likely going to give you the most dollars for that cardboard, right? All right. So thanks for that. Now we're going to hop over here to the left monitor, and you'll see we've got this Heroku app website, and we're just gonna get a ready check going. Let's see who's our leader today. Looks like Skeptical Hat with the crown is giving us a ready check. I'm gonna say I'm ready, and really we just dive in and start drafting, and then we're gonna kick this over at the end of the draft. We get to we get to ship this over to our main account and then get going on that. So I've been talking about how Pursued Whale is pursuing me. I feel like I'm going to take the whale. It's been very good for me. And it is like, I think the 7th time I've drafted this card. I don't know. It just follows me everywhere. Other interesting picks here. Conclave Mentor is a great build around that I have not employed yet, but it seems quite good. People are saying Pursued Whale maybe not so good in this aggro heavy format. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm supposed to be leaning more aggro. I mean, Acolyte is quite the pick too. Ghostlight is another great blue card that probably sends an unfortunate signal to take the whale and send this Ghostlight. We could just take the Acolyte if we wanted to forego the whale. What do you think? We got 46 seconds here or whatever on my clock. I know there's some lag for you all, but you can. I'm not going to run a poll or anything. But do you want to go with the whale or do you want to go with Acolyte? I don't think I want to start with Mentor, but and I also don't want to start with Geyser. Geyser is fine, but not a priority for me at all. But I could go either direction with this. I think the pick is Acolyte or whale. A couple people want Acolyte, but mostly people are on the whale, so I'll start there. Rousing Reed is a solid blue card if we wanted to match our starting color, but there's a Scorching Dragonfire here, which I think is correct over Grasp of Darkness at this point in the format. The ease of casting and the power of red in the format makes me like Dragonfire over Grasp here. Swift Response is solid removal for white. And of course, again, this Rousing Reed. Don't sleep on the Rousing Reed. It's a great story. It's all about winning. But yes, we'll take some Dragonfire. And note that an uncommon is missing here. This is more powerful than Acolyte, though. Acolyte is good, but Whale is a very good card. So, yeah, I hear you. Rousing Reed, because we have the Whale, is close, but I think the Dragonfire is too good to pass. And we might not even play the Whale from here. You know, we could follow up with a Shock here and just focus in on the low to the ground red. Cheap stuff. You got to interact quickly. Again, I'm trying to listen to the community a lot right now. I've talked about how this week in particular, you know, like this week of the format, which is basically like, think of it in terms of the week that LR releases their initial impressions. You know, they've done the uncommon and common and the rare and mythic set reviews. And then the community generally has a lot of solid info on the set, and I'm really getting ear to the ground on it. And everybody is just screaming about how aggro this is, which is why some people really didn't want to take the Whale as a 7-drop. But even in an aggro format, it doesn't mean that you can't play 7s. It just means you need to understand what you're doing to stop the aggro rush. And so Shock, this early red removal helps with that. And I definitely like taking this cheap interaction so that we don't get run over. And if you can control cheaply, then you can get to the expensive stuff and have them take over the game. So the Whale is only unplayable if we don't set up to protect ourselves on the way. However, we can just take Watchdog here, potentially leading to a low-down Boros or a Chorister. Also kind of does that. I really just... now, you know... I don't mind taking the Whale, but I think I am on Chorister here, potentially backing into red-white. And what are we giving up to do that? Like, yeah, I'd play Whale in blue-red spells and blue-white flyers, sure. I mean, like... in the abstract vestige, like everything is deck dependent. I mean, show me the deck, right? Yeah, we could take Passage to stay open. It is a good fixer, and this is pretty whatever. But I also do like to cut colors early, so that if we to just keep people out of it, you know. So I'm going to take Chorister with the acknowledgement that Fabled Passage is a totally legit pick. You're right. But this is a low down start in which if we were to abandon the whale, I'd be happy we had this start on. So, well, let's see what we got now. Protege, a little more controlling. Take a Cliffs and just have some fixing if we do red-blue. Blue hasn't really been flowing here since the whale, and we also passed a lot of blue, so the fact that blue is drying up a bit from my perspective here makes me want to take just pivot back to Hobble Fiend or Steed. But 2-drops are a premium, and I really would like to play this red, and taking the Hobble Fiend here cuts red out of this pack entirely. It does mean we may be getting having some red drafters up to our right, but it cuts red for pack 2 at least. So let's take the red card. Yeah, I'm not trying to signal with white. I'm trying to take the, just take the correct card. And this felt like a plan we could back into that would be all right. Hedging to the Boros. Well, Crag could help hedge to the Boros. Pride Malkin is a solid pick, but it's like the first green card. I don't know if we want to take the first green card here. Ogre. Could just take Ogre. Continue to really try and cut this red, even though it's not a fantastic card. I mean, what else is? There's nothing fantastic here. Like, the best cards are not in anything we've drafted yet and are not good enough to make me want to switch. Yeah, I guess Crab is a consideration if we were thinking of this in terms of being a more controlling situation. They're just kind of weak, right? We could spec on Pride Malkin. Yeah, that's the thing. Blue has been so closed off. I don't like I don't like the Crab as much. I think since I identified Pride Malkin as probably the best card here, and yeah, I think you're right, Smash. Ogre has exceeded expectations, but it is still replaceable, and we can take the more powerful card here just in case we're missing a signal. Scanner can go in anything. If we end up red-white, it's fine. Up in the air as part of that aggro plan. There's a lot of red here, which is great to see. Means we're on. I mean, it's not great red. Pitchburn Devils is all right. Yeah, we can take another Hobble Fiend to continue on the red. I just don't let, sacrificing other creatures in this, unless we end up in white and red black, which we could. Black is kind of flowing too. It's not impossible that we would end up black from here. All three of these are fine. But I do like the scanner. Nobody likes the scanner but me. This does do some color cutting that's nice. Okay, I'll cut color again and take another Hobble Fiend. These having enough 2s is so big. Oh, Ruined Halo. This is legit removal. It's not amazing, but it is removal, although I think it's not amazing enough that it only protects you from it. It's very narrow removal, so I'm not surprised it's still here. Kind of like just the Watchdog. And then if we get into Boros, we can try to find the uncommon. I agree with you that Scanner likes white especially, and green too. But I found Scanner excellent in white blue with the 03 attackers get +1/+0. When you can turn your Scanner into a 2/1 thanks to that white card, it gets really nice. All right, down here towards the end of the pack, we are running low on appealing stuff. We have Steed and Mutt as 5 drops that we could run, but we also have this Truffle Snout if we do end up in green. The Hobble Fiends and the Truffle Snout stuff seems fine. I think I like that more than fairly replaceable white creatures at 5. So yeah, I'm going to continue to spec here, try to find our lane. I think it involves red. I think it no longer involves blue. And I'm not sure if it involves green or white. This imp here is somewhat signally. Crag could help us if we end up in the red-white. But if we're in the red-white, I kind of just like a 2/2 flash. You know, like... I love fixing. I would love to have this dual land. I really loved what Marshall and Luis had to say on fixing today. But a flash bear in this format, when we're leaning towards potentially being Boros, is too tempting to me. So I'm gonna take the priest. Vestige likes the land. I sure like that land too. But I'm gonna continue to send good signals, and this Defiant Strike will be fine in our deck too. It's a Grizzly Bear format. We'll take the Grizzly Bear, right? Well, those of you who wanted the Acolyte, you were sure right. How much would I give to trade this whale for 2/3 lifelink, distribute 2 +1/+1 counters right now? Unlikely to play Bone Pit Brute or Run Afoul. We're best of 1, so not going to be main decking Sacrifice a Flyer. We'll take the Bone Pit Brute, but probably not play it. It doesn't... Well, what does it go into? I mean, if you want, like, synergies for this, your best synergy is to use it on your 3/3 that can't attack without 4 power and give something 4 power. You know, you can do that with it or something. But really, it's just, since it cycles, it can go in anything, and it doesn't hurt you. It's got a nice floor. The floor is pay a white when you have a creature in play to cycle, and you can do a lot worse than that. Shieldmate could make the cut in this type of deck, depending on what kind of action we get to pump it up. Yeah, it has some draw 2 synergies as well. You're not wrong there. Ugh, another 9 lives, which is kind of garbagey, but we can take the Tempered Veteran here if we feel we're closing in on our color situation. I think the late white there was a nice sign. I think this is our lane. And given that, I like the 2-drop over the Slag, but if we can wheel the Slag, that'd be fine. Yes, we need to prioritize counters, both to make Shieldmate worth playing and to make Tempered Veteran actually good. That's a good point. GPick points out that Hobblefiend self-sack can make counters to get the Veteran going. Of course, it helps to have expendable creatures. You don't like to 2-for-1 yourself just to get a Veteran going. But if it's what the situation called for, you could. Hellkite Punisher has been a solid 7 when it has showed up, but it is 7. So I'm not super excited about that. I would rather just take the Daybreak Charger here. Another 2-drop, 3 power, trades up, gets aggro if they are slow, and maybe we try and wheel a Chorister. Maybe we see a Chorister or Mutt. I would play 1 Mutt in this deck. Seven certainly feels like too much for this type of deck. I don't think 7 is too much for like a Pursued Whale if you're playing a deck that controls early and is trying to go long from there. But for this format, having your deck be made up entirely of 2s and 1s, 11 picks in, or 11 playables in, seems pretty good. Yeah, I was talking earlier, we're at the point in the format where the world has drafted a lot more than me. The conventional wisdom in general in the community is a little ahead of where my brain is at. So this is the week where I really try to pay attention to others. I try to pay attention to my own chat. I try to pay attention to the Houndmaster we got past. Woohoo! Oh no, but there's an Acolyte. Now I need to take a break from that aside and choose. Help me. Like, I think we have to take Acolyte after what we were talking about with the Veteran. But Houndmaster might wheel if nobody's in it. Ugh. Really? Houndmaster could wheel. Is more. I don't think it will. I think people would hate the Houndmaster before letting it get back to me on the wheel. Oh, this is a tough one. I think I'm going to take the Acolyte. This is agonizing. It's not impossible that we wheel the Houndmaster, but I really want this this effect. I think right now this effect is more important. This ETB is more important to me than this ETB. Fenor says this is more important. I disagree. I don't know, Fenor. I'm obviously I disagree. Maybe I'm wrong, but I disagree. Taking the Acolyte. Another Hobble Fiend. Or we could just take a Shield Mate. I guess we take another Hobble Fiend. We'll probably wheel this. Yeah, we don't have a Cur yet, but we'll probably get one, Elgar. It was really hard to pass that Houndmaster, because I do believe we'll get the tools to make it work. Looks like green is wide open, coming back the other way. Pteranodon is an emerging powerhouse common in the format for that color at least. What does make creature like tokens? We need like the that uncommon that attacks and makes flyers, except we don't. At that point, you might really just want to have the flyer tokens. Falconer, yeah. That's an uncommon, right? Must be. I never see it. Falconer, I had a Falconer in my blue-white deck that went 7-0, and that deck had some bounce in it too, so it was doing a good job of clearing the way for Falconer to attack and create flyers. Augur doesn't seem super great for what we are up to, per se. Not awful. But I think here we just take Sure Strike. Looking at that Cliffs too. Too bad when the Augur's in the right deck, it's an excellent card. We had a great blue-red deck early in the format that had 2 Augurs, and they were kind of the all-star of the deck. Here's the crappy white removal I was talking about before. I'd rather have a Devils than the Secure the Scene, I think. Although, yeah, because Secure the Scene creates a chump, and it's one that can easily block Hobble Fiends unless we sacrifice something. So I'm just going to take Devils here. But feeling like we're not getting quite the hookup in this pack I was hoping for. Weird empty column at 3. Seems like green is maybe wide open at this table now. I don't know. It's early in pack 2, so maybe I'm reading too much into it right now, but the green, it just seems super flowing. We took some hedges towards it, but didn't quite land there. Yeah, Queen, it might just be bad packs. But, I mean, this is what I mean. This is kind of frustrating. Like, all this is so whatever. Take another Chorister, but I think just a Charger is fine. Let's keep piling on damage. We're going to play a 12 lander and not play anything above 2. I agree, Craig. This pack has been a letdown. So far, Lurrus would be quite good in this deck, yes. Turret Ogre or just slagging it up? I guess I'll slag over Ogre here. Some hard removal, hardish. It's not, you know, can't get a Dreadmaw or whatever, but gets most stuff in the format. So I'm going to take it. Ones, twos, 1, 4, 2, 5s. Done. Yeah, we might have just got hit by bad packs in the right lane without finding the right stuff. This is similar. I don't want to take, you know, we do want to be low to the ground, but we're kind of getting there on the low to the groundness. I don't want a shield mate. I'll take a Devils or a Slag. I think I'll take another Devils because we have the triple Hobble Fiend. So this can be 3 damage instead of 5, but it can also attack for a while. And it can be 6 damage on defense. So I'm going to go with a Devils number 2 over Slag number 2. Judgment. Things are so low aggro, Judgment feels like it's a risky main deck in best of 1. We already have a Bone Pit Brute, though. I guess I'll take a Mutt. It's possible a Mutt makes the cut. Although I think these 3 5s are better than, all 3 of them are better than this 5. So probably not playing this Mutt, honestly. To the point that I should almost make a hate call here and take something like a Protege or Punisher if we feel like this could get us. I don't think anybody's going to make the Punisher do much here. I'll take it, though. Maybe we end up playing it because of playables or something that happens from here. Warded Battlements. Wow. There's a Windscarred Crag, and Battlements is definitely better in flyers, but this would be a fine 3 for what we're doing. So I'm going to forsake yet another tap land and take Battlements here for our first 3. Nope, that's our first 3-drop. That's what I was saying. We had this weird curve of 1s, 2s, nothing, A4, and then, you know, some high end. We're probably not playing that, though. Yeah, Watchdog didn't wheel. I wasn't expecting it to. We said that it had, and I do believe it did have a higher chance of wheeling than the other one. But I stand by the pick so far. I don't regret choosing the Acolyte over the Houndmaster. This is a great card for us, for sure. No, we looked at an Ogre at one point, and then I took something else. I don't know if there are more. Is that just your brain, or have you done the math, Red Noisy? It could be that they're the same number of 5s that a set usually has, but they're more playable here, so we're noticing them more or something. I think every set has a bunch of 5s, which is why I generally don't prioritize 5s, right? Well, another shock is fine, if not amazing. Really low on the power front here, but maybe we can wheel a Gale Swooper. Elgar is thinking about the Swooper now. Yeah, I like the shock. In this format, the shock just seems great. It just keeps us from getting run over and clears the way, very cheaply clears the way for us to run them over. I missed that chat. Yeah, there wasn't really the 4-power payoffs so far, but you don't need those payoffs for green-red to be playable in the format. I've found just curving out with bigger stuff than your average Boros deck can get there. Oh, it's not in the sideboard. It's just the deck continues down here. Here's my sideboard. Let's see. Here's a Swooper. I think that's the pick here. I don't see anything else jumping out at me. Trader's Greed surely is playable with the Triple Fiend, but I also am going to hedge that nobody else wants this. Do you think, right? I don't think anybody's going to take this. They're not usually that keen on this type of thing. So, yeah, I'm going to take Swooper. Comes down on 4 and can lift up like a 3/1 that can't attack anymore and get it in for some extra damage and then be a flyer itself. Kind of just want more warded battlements and this Basri's Acolytes, you know, and just go with it. Go with that. Wow, we are just getting worked over on the packs, I think. I mean, there's a lot of cards in here. They're just not in our color. You know, here's 3 uncommons, none that we can play, you know? So Alpine Watchdog is... You want Crash Through over the doggy? I think we just want a second doggy, right? Keep those 2s piling up. We'll probably wheel the Crash Through, although if there's a blue-white or blue-red spells deck, they might want that Crash Through more than us. Certainly, this is the best Crash Through has ever been. Between, importantly, giving big greenies some trample and blue-red some spells in the yard and draw 2. Lots of clever inclusions like that. They've been really delivering on excellent glue commons, you know, these commons that really just hold the format together. Gaggle Master is a reasonable top end. It's another 5. I don't know how many 5s we're playing here. But what else are we taking? A Burn Bright? Another Defiant Strike? A Dub? People have been saying Dub is playable, but I'm not there yet, gang. I'm not there yet. I got wrecked by Fuhrer, you know, the red mana for a 2/2 must attack aura yesterday, but I'm just not there on these 2/2. I would rather continue to try to blow people out who are trying to use auras than be the one trying to use them myself, but I could be convinced by the end if I need to pivot. But I think Gaggle Master is fine here. Yeah, here's the card that destroyed us yesterday, quite comically, really. Wizardry could come in at 4, but we're not doing enough to make this good. So probably a possibility here. No, Craig, I doubt I'm going to take Dub. I'd rather Thrill. I'll take Dubs if they wheel, and we'll see. I don't want Wizardry or Dub. I want Thrill. I mean, I don't want Thrill, but I would play Thrill before I play those others. There's a Mutt. We'll take a Cur here. I think we're not going to get our Houndmaster. Arsonist, also a possibility. Like Arsonist or Cur. I think we want... Yeah, that's true. Arsonist does have the Hobble Fiends as a reason to be prioritized. All right, we'll do that. That's fair. Cur number 1 is defensible, but the Arsonist with these triple Hobble Fiends makes a lot of sense too. Weird deck, not doing much at 3, but we have so much going on at 1 and 2. I'm hoping that turn 3 is a 2-drop and hold up shock, right? Or a 2-drop and cycle a Defiant Strike, that kind of thing. Oh, sad times. I think we are not in the right lane, that's for sure. Green, whoever's in green is getting the hookup this draft. We didn't quite find our lane, and also I think the packs weren't particularly good for us. I guess we can take a Rambunctious Mutt to have different options, but I'll just take another Devils. It's possible we just do 3 Devils with the Hobble Fiends, and these 3 Devils on the top end can really be our reach with the Hobble Fiends. And we'll see if we get that Threaten effect on the wheel. Yeah, look at this. Now we're like hating tools from other players here. Take the Rise again. Yeah, we even hedged a little bit early. Pride Malkin and Truffle Snout were pack 1 picks, but I think the early pack 2 stuff solidified us in... also, there was just a lot of late white. We were trying to figure out white or green, and then there was just tons of late white. So we thought we were in the right place on that front. Was this the wheel? I think, is this or the next pack that has the potential wheel? I think it's the next pack, right? We're trying to wheel that. We'll take a Sure Strike here. I'll play a second Sure Strike. All right, cross your fingers. Really want to see the Threaten effect. Oh, they took it from us, those jerks. But we'll take an Ogre here. I don't know what I passed to Haj that he's surprised about, but I don't want to half color temples are playable, but I don't want to play a tap land in this deck unless it's fixing both colors. I don't think we run a Burn Bright, but so yeah, so maybe I should actually hate draft. You think it does, Deacon? I don't know. I don't think we're running this, but I guess I'll take it to make sure to give us the option. And I don't think we're running enough of the cheap spells for me to want Wizardry. Maybe we should have. I don't know. We do have a lot of spells, it's true. Felt weakish to me, but maybe Wizardry could have been good, Mabinat. I guess we're not going to run 3 Devils. Nobody wanted to be in green. All right, this deck hopefully will save my hair, but I don't know about winning the week with this one. I think I'm going to lean away from Burn Brights to start. Boy, Tempered Veteran needs a little help. We've got these Hobble Fiends to try and get stuff going, though. I think I'm going to cut a Shield Mate as not impactful enough, given that we don't have like a ton of Acolytes we're trying to leverage, and we have a bunch of those. All right, this isn't official. This is just Mama redeeming a meme. This is not me predicting anything. Oh wait, hold on. I'm not in the right view for it. To redeem Mama's meme, I got to come back here.
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
All right. Yeah, we could cut. Yeah, that's true. We could go super low down here and cut like this and or even put the Shield Mate back and go 15. Just looking at it, yeah, 15 is a bit greedy. I think with the 5s, probably just take that Shield Mate back out, and we could go 16 with the Thrill here. Yeah. Maybe this, although if we do 16, we could also bring back a second Devils and cut our worst 2 or something like that. Cut a Sure Strike. Although I think we're going to be happy with Sure Strikes with what we're doing here. All right, let's try this. We can adjust as needed, but I think we can export this and get to deck building. Oops, not profile. Decks. Here we go. I think I have to create some room, though. All right, if you have any bling, get your bling requests in now. Anybody pick lands? I think we'll go with Theros lands today. Unless somebody has redeemed. And let's apply styles, craft. Obviously, this is about hobbling, right? We got 3 hobble fiends. Hobbling to victory. Okay, I like starting here. I'm not gonna overthink it. Yeah, actually, let's be a little subtler. We'll use a synonym to hobbling. I like limping to victory, and then we'll put a hobble fiend in the art. I like that a little better. Good one, hat. I like that too. Obligations is nice. All right, let's get it on. You and me, GGards. Oh, is Ikoria still on Quick Draft? Last we checked on Ikoria Quick Draft, the bots were still making the cycling deck quite available, and I found Quick Draft Ikoria to be all about cycling. Well, we only have an icicle at 2. Like, our deck is 80% 2-drops and 15% 1-drops, and yet, still, we're on the play. I'm going to mulligan this, and we're going to find earlier action. Ugh. All right, I'm going to keep this despite the lack of white, because at least we have something to curve out with. And Defiant Strike is whatever. So this is going to be our keep. This is rough because we're in one of those spots where we're asking our deck for multiple things here. We need planes and we need action, and we need 2 things. You're in a bad spot. We need 2 things and we've mulliganed, so. But it was certainly not correct to mold a 5 or anything. But it is certainly correct to shock the heck out of that thing. I'm scared of GGards, who's got a forest, and we know how good looking the green was. The green seat looked wide open. So I'm a little nervous about this. Oh, Red Noisy makes a prediction that reminds me I can see what you think. I'm gonna run a poll. You all tell me, if I were to play this out a gazillion times, what our average win count would be. All right, that's great. It allows us to charge and get in with the Arsonist. If we find another land, we can Veteran Sure Strike next turn. Pteranodon is always a 4-power attacker. Always. So we're going to go Veteran and show ourselves as only having 3 damage on defense, but with a Sure Strike, we can try and take out this Pteranodon, and we have to try. We could get blown out here, but we're going to lose to this Pteranodon if we don't land this Sure Strike, so we're going to give it a try. And I think it's not going to work, and I think we're going to lose. But I can't play around the Sure Strike not working. Leaving the Goblin back because it was what I wanted to. I wanted to show. I wanted to be able to block with the Goblin Arsonist and not the Veteran if we were put into a spot with a Sure Strike. Although now that they have stayed back here, let's go ahead and send in the Arsonist, because now we have both sides. Both sides, we can Sure Strike on offense or defense successfully. Now, of course, GGards suspects something. If GGards blocks with the 2/3, we just let it happen and we trade Arsonist for Protege, and that's fine. And then we still have Sure Strike for the block. Coming back the other way. So they only lost Pteranodon, we lost Arsonist and Sure Strike. So we 2-for-1'd ourselves, but the Pteranodon had to die. Speaking of had to die, wow, GGards got the hookup in the right colors and got Sicko Mythic. Must be nice, GGards. Some of us just have to sit here trying to win with commons. Let's see, do we have any hope? If we get a Pitchburn Devils off the top. If we get a Pitchburn Devils off the top, it's not impossible to win from here. But it has to be that. And even then, we would still be way up against it. You might note that this card does not say Pitchburn Devils on it. We'll let him finish this off here. Sure, life's easy when you're in the open lane and open mythic bombs, GGards. Good game. No shame losing to that. A little bit of shame in not having the correct record up, though. Sorry, everybody. Let's fix that now. Sorry, D, you've been misled. We're 0-1. And no, I'm not going to sweat till 5 losses. All right, next up, I got to check my list. True Banks. Thank you, True. You too. Man, another rough one, but at least we have a thrill here. And so Hobblefiend and Dragonfire are both castable, and if we can't find white mana, we can always abandon one of these two and go hunting for it. So I'm going to keep this. All right, got lucky there with the right draw off the top. Now I kind of like hoping that we use the thrill for flood control later and just work on a curve out now. Well, with black-red here, I think we probably have the answer to who might have taken our sweet Steal and Sack Threaten effect. We could take a trade here and then follow with Dragonfire. It seems like Oppo's the beatdown, so I'm going to play defensively here. Take the block. We have Dragonfire. We're on, you know... yeah, and I just like Dragonfire here, although there's nothing... Let's see, what could black-red do to punish us for letting them untap, and why would we might want to? I guess in case, you know, people are using auras, if True is trying to get us with the +2/+2 auras. Yeah, I could sack it for card draw. That's a great... Ratio and Deacon and Jinx all calling out the possibility of village rights, which is a good reason to do it now. In general, if you can't think of it, I like to just do it so you don't get punished by the thing you're not thinking of. But in this case, chat has helped me out and come up with exactly what we're thinking about. We could take a turn off. We could let them have the Hound for a turn. They're probably not going to get any extra +1/+0 value out of it. So we could also like drop the Veteran and then be able to swoop it. We do have the land to ensure that play. And then we can see what they do with this Hound. Yeah, actually kind of like what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go Veteran now. Then next turn we can have Charger plus Dragonfire. And then the turn after that we can potentially swoop the Charger. So I'm going to go with this and see what True's got to defend against that plan. Perfect target for the Dragonfire. So we've upgraded our Dragonfire target, and we get our Charger play, and we set up for the swoop. Swoop, swoop, swoop. Gonna hold this mountain for the thrill. Actually, what do we have? We have double... Oh, yeah, that doesn't work for me. We have a little double white. Doesn't really matter at this point, though. I'm going to drop... We do want 6, though, for the veteran, so there is that. Well, we'll start here anyway. Unfortunately, Swooper doesn't really do anything, but I will attack in case they are holding up a shock, make him choose before they know we have a Swooper. The devils. Well, what about... I don't know if we can race yet with the 6 mana ability here. I think we should take a turn to Thrill and Watchdog. I'm going to start with the Thrill here on this mountain. Look for some different action. And that kind of qualifies. Battlements blocks the Bolt Hound profitably, or, you know, bounces off. And I'm going to play the Plains because we do want to have veteran mana. But I'll battlements here and ship the Swooper. Good time zone to you, Cardinator. Glad you could make it. Better late than, etc. Hope the battlements lives through this block. We'll see. Sure strike. Excellent. Don't need to put the doggy out yet, though. And are we sending the vet? If we send the vet... If we don't send the vet, why? It's because we want 2 blockers in case they remove the Watchdog. But we have battlements on defense still anyway, so I'm going to send the vet and lay our hopes on a defensive doggy. Tight race here, though. We're kind of at a virtual 5 with the Devils. Although at this point, we could, like, throw the battlements in front of the Devils and just chump. Although it's still providing crackback power, so don't want to lose our full crackback power. But Sure Strike plus Swooper is GG right now. So if we just make them stop that, we should be in decent shape. So yeah, there's a good argument here for just chumping with the Watchdog. Just let the Watchdog happen and try to keep our win in place with the Flyer and make one of these cards be removal. Right, their own Sure Strike is 6, which is why I'm not just letting this through. Well, their own Sure Strike is 6, and that could... But, I mean, Sure Strike plus Shock could kill us. I'm not letting this through. We could just die if we just let this through. And we don't really need the Watchdog on attacks for where we're at. So I am going to try that play. I'm going to just chump with the Watchdog, try and not kill the Devils. But we're somewhat all in on this Swooper now. If the Swooper dies, we're in a real bad spot in the game without a top deck. And I'm going to play the Hobble Fiend out. Partly to see, yeah, so there's a... This pause gives me pause. The fact that there was a pause suggesting True has an instant play here makes me not want to risk the Sure Strike for the win. But I think we send Swooper and Veteran at the very least. Okay, Wizardry is great. The there's still actually, although with how this auto tapped makes me either means they have no more red cards, or it could be grasp. So grasp is scary, but can we beat grasp at this point with this goblin wizardry going wide like that? We can't really beat grasp, so we shouldn't play around it, right? But we certainly let them make blocks first. So I'm going for it. This could be a blowout loss, but since the grasp just wrecks us, like if I don't cast this and they have the grasp, we still get wrecked. So we may as well try and win before we get wrecked. This is what I mean by not playing around removal that you can't beat. All right, we got lucky. True did not have it. And so the hair is safe.
I do my hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
We were talking about that, True. We were like, well, grasp mana is up, but we can't beat it. If True has grasp, we lose. If True does not have grasp, we win. Let's find out whether we lose or win. Well, and it's especially funny when the auto tapper leaves up 2 black like that, because you just threw the spell out and it snapped left 2 black. But the nature of the auto tapper is either leave up the 2 black because I have the grasp, or leave up 2 black and use all the red because there's no red left in the hand. So we didn't know if it was no red left or grasp in hand. Six-drop ogre, I see. Huh. Weird choices from the auto tapper then, as usual, I guess. All right, let me see who's next. John, aka It's Magic. All right, John, good luck. Right on, Trigger. Glad to have you here, and sure hope you manage regularity. If not, we'll take you when we can get you. We can't seem to get both our colors to open a hand here today. That hasn't been helping us. Low value charger on 2 is available here. Oppo going first. We could find a mountain for the shock. I think this is a weak opener, though. I'm going to mulligan and find something better. Just so. And I'm going to be greedy here, ditch a plains, and try to work on the 2 land angle for now. Feat of Resistance is so good, we just do this now. We'll go Hobble Fiend now. We have a charger that we could use to potentially pump, although I'm expecting this imp to stay back and threaten blocks that make us not want to attack. All right, I've not seen this card do its thing yet. The community seems pretty down on black-white life gain, feeling like it keeps coming up a little bit short, but maybe John will show us how it's done. Well, failing to find a 3rd land is interesting because we can Defiant Strike to cycle and look for a 3rd land. If we find it, we have Dragonfire for the imp. And, but we could also just... Yeah, I think I just like Charger and Send. And if you want to make that trade, we still get 1 for 1. And with the trample, we actually get some damage out of it. So yeah, I'm just going to charge her and see what John wants to do about it. Seems like the nature of this deck is all about how many revitalizes are in the draft you're in. Yeah, we could Dragonfire the corpse and go for more damage, or we could Sure Strike trying to find that land. Close call, but because it leaves red behind for the Dragonfire, if we find it, I'm going to go for it. Come on, one time, deck, give us a land on top. Come on. Yeah. All right, I've used up my one time, so I'm done. That's it. No more one times for Ryan. Such a great response to removal, huh? They basically converted our removal spell into a divination for 1 mana. Well, I'm going to swoop here and try and race. But in the moment, Razor, everything seems so important, you know? All right. Yeah, let's see. This battalion is unfortunate because Devils can't beat it. If we attack with the Charger, obviously they trade with the Containment Priest, but then we have a Devils that trades with this for, like, some damage. We could also play the Ogre and trade Ogre, and then try to finish on the Devils. Or we could just play Devils, trade, deal 3, and try to finish with the Ogre. But 2 toughness, significantly worse than 3 toughness on trying to close out a game with attacks. The other play Seguin is mentioning that I was going to get to next is we play the land, we play the Devils, we pass, and then we just start attacking with the Devils, knowing that if they kill it, we get to kill something else. That means taking a turn off of aggro, and that's the real question there. Do we want to take the pedal off of the metal for a turn? And it's probably worth it to try and 2 for 1 the Devils, right? So they're down to 1 card. The Aerie hasn't done anything yet. I'm a little worried, though. Like, they draw a Revitalize, and boom, this Aerie does something. Right now, it's a 2-mana do-nothing, but it could be significant shortly. So let's try the Devils play, though, and hold off on charging. Oh man, Sure Strike makes this a much better attack. We can attack with everything now. I mean, it's into open mana. The Sure Strike could backfire. That's the problem with combat tricks, but... And let's see. We can accept... Which trade do we want to accept here? Actually, probably just want to accept this trade. Do the Sure Strike on the Devils. Then if they do kill the Devils, we still get value out of that at least. Yeah, we could accept both and play the Ogre, and then have Sure Strike up with a 4/2, with everything dead. Interesting. Yeah, and it could have a feat if... Yeah, I think the reason to accept here... both, yeah, because we can do this follow-up play, but right now, like, the worst case is like Feat of Resistance, but if we just let this happen and they have a feat, then we can respond to that with a Sure Strike, potentially, depending on where they put it and for what, you know? And we're happy with this result. So let's see if this is enough now. All right, and now we're threatening lethal between Ogre, Watchdog, and Sure Strike. Obviously, they're going to look to block the Ogre, and we'll probably just Sure Strike for winning combat. Yeah, especially with that draw. And now we're saying lethal, and what has Oppo got? Can you save yourself, John? Paj, are you around? Mama's asking. All right, got another one. After starting with a loss, I've come back for 2 wins to take the lead in the race to 4 wins over chat. So, I was talking with a buddy of mine. He might even be watching now. He's probably watching now. Hey, Marty, how you doing? My friend Martin, who kind of lurks on stream a lot, was saying, what about something to play for between 4 wins and 7 wins? Like, what's something that chat could get for 5 wins or 6 wins? So I've been thinking about that, and thinking about maybe that we use 4 wins is just winning the week, but maybe on like 5 or 6 wins, like whenever you guys 5 or 6 win me, we go and buy something. We go buy bling from the store or something like that. I know Mama would like that, right? So anyway, just something, a little conversation starter. What do y'all think you should earn for 5 wins or 6 wins? Magic Star is up next. Yeah, you could have me do something less dramatic than cutting off my hair, but think about that. Yeah, we could have some 5 and 6 win idea threads on the Discord. That would be good. And maybe like, yeah, we can hold a vote on what to buy or something. Come on. I've been doing all right, but boy, our opening hands have not been helping it. I'm going to mulligan this. All right, this is a solid keep, and we're going to ditch the thrill. Daybreak Charger on a turn 1 Chorister. Very nice. That's not how it works, D. The prize for beating me is not going to be homework. Hey, John. Yeah, good game. You just, we turned that area into a 2-mana do-nothing, and that was a huge deal, right? You just didn't find your synergy in time. Breeden, is that subtle shade? Buying bling kind of depends on what is in the daily deals, because otherwise you would run out of things to buy. No, it's not shade. You're just... I see what you're saying. Anyway, we could do battlements here, but I like shocking 2 spelling right away. Getting a Hobble Fiend down and being able to battlements next turn for a big attack is some big game. Get to 5 mana. This thing turns into a house. And Protege says... Sit back, Chorister, and wait for that next land, but we can continue to apply pressure with Hobble Fiend and Daybreak Charger. I'll trade either of these for that Protege as we look for a 5th land to turn on this Chorister and just try to close out with Chorister pumps from here. I know, Breeden. I was kidding. You weren't actually trying to throw shade. I was just joking. But yes, it kind of... You could interpret it as, you're going to lose so much, they're going to run out of things in the store for you to buy. Seguin says, I love these spots where there are no bad cards in the deck. Well, maybe this isn't our favorite draw of all time. Still could offer the Charger here, and will. Looks like Magic Star is stuck on land here, and that makes me want to press for trades. All right, they found 4th land. What can they do with it? I want to find 5th land, and if I do, I will take a turn to make the Gaggle Master. There's no reason to start pumping 5 mana into this every turn when we have a actual 5-drop to play. And I think we have one other 5-drop or something. Yeah, there's like... Oh yeah, Elgar, we're definitely waiting for 5 mana. I did not want to trade off a Chorister when we're close to having a 5/4 lifelink attacking. 5/4 lifelinkers on the attack here seem excellent. And this Gaggle Master is asking a very serious question of Oppo right now as well. We've got 2 hyper-important threats for Oppo to deal with, and with the stumbling on mana and being down to 1 creature in play, looking very good for us, barring quite some bomby sequencing. Like something that could get Magic Star out of it would be the uncommon control magic. You know, steal our Chorister after it's tapped, or steal the Gaggle Master. If they have an instant, they can make this a 3/3, which can trade off with the Gaggle Master, but we're fine with that too. So we're going to send in our 2 creatures and see what they got for this. If they just let the Chorister go, we'll probably not pump it and play the Devils post-combat. Could be Bounce. There's the uncommon Bounce spell that would be pretty painful after spending a lot on pump, but we got to play our game here. I think ideal play for Magic Star would be that uncommon Bounce spell. Bounce the Chorister after we pump. We're tapped out. We can't replay the Chorister. Singer pumps and trades with a Gaggle Master. Yeah, Rookie Mistake could be bad as well, but it wouldn't kill the Chorister. I wouldn't mind Rookie Mistake because the Chorister would stay on the battlefield and alive. So that'd be fine with me. But we are going to pump. I'm just explaining what the risks are here. Okay, that couldn't be better, right? I was expecting worst case scenarios where our board is fairly clear except for battlements and Magic Star is fairly well stabilized, but as it is, that might just be the door slamming shut. Well, what did I say? One of their outs, Enthralling Hold. In this case, I like Chorister, no pump, play Devils so that we have a lot of pressure next turn into the Gaggle Master, presumably on defense at that point. And I'll sandbag the land. Is my record right? Am I 3-1 or 2-1? I can't remember. Let's see. Whom I'm playing. No, I'm 2-1, right. I'm on my 4th match. Okay. If the Chorister is double blocked, we're happy, right? So we could just attack with the Devils, because then they have no good blocks. They block one, we kill the other. But we could also just attack with the Chorister too, and then what do? They block Chorister with 1 and Devils with the... Oh, I guess with 4-3, they have a good block on the Chorister. Yeah, I'm just going to send the Devils right now. Yeah, because I don't want him to make that trade. So Devils is good, though. Devils is a what are you going to do about it attack. And it's potentially lethal. If they saw all those Hobble Fiends going around, if this were a Hobble Fiend, we'd be presenting lethal on a no block. Two cards in hand, a single black up. They could end up with a, Village Rites here, but that would be fine too. Not ideal, but... Huh, okay. That's pretty good, but it's only till end of turn, so Chorister starts to be able... Well, no, it's still a trade. Okay, that's good for them. Quite good. Now we need some more action because they have a trade on our Chorister. And... Well, I unfortunately called it. We're really crushing them. What could they do to get out of this? And then they have it. All right, a little help, deck. You're a little late, buddy. Little late to the party. I'm going to play it out, though, so we can play the Hobble Fiend and have Chorister pump. Containment Priest doesn't do much other than be a 2/2 flash, but could help us get wide enough to win this. We still don't have good attacks right now, though. Despite our 33-7 advantage, we're now at a rough spot for the Boros type decks where we're trying to figure out how to get there from here. And one of the ways we can is to find our veteran that does the +1/+1 counter thing. That would be cool. They are playing blue-black. Let's see him pitch a reanimation target or something. It's not unreasonable to actually hold this for that. Given that we don't have swings for the win and they're playing blue-black, we could keep this as a potential reanimation hoser. At some point, yeah, you got to turn that Gaggle Master sideways and try to win the game, right? What would work? Oh, yeah, no, that's the point of this card, is to nullify reanimation strategies. But they have dropped down a defender. We could, if we play the priest, technically have attacks past. You know, we would get in for damage. But I am going to, well, and actually it works as a static, right? It just sits there working as static. We don't need to surprise him with it. Yeah, like that's what Timnos is saying. Like, I think we don't worry about surprising them. We just kind of use the containment priest to shut off. Well, if they hold a cancel, we'll see it with a pause here. There's certainly a pause, and there's nothing on board that produces a pause. So I like the coax read of cancel here. Which is unfortunate, because we really want Sure Strike plus Chorister now, and if our read is cancel... Now, if we send in a 5/4, yeah, they can just block there, and then the cancel is pretty brutal. So if we're playing around cancel, we should hold here and try to find something else to bait the cancel with, so that we can try and use Sure Strike with Chorister for some success. Like, that almost makes me want to lure out the cancel on the Sure Strike, so then we can Scorching Dragonfire. But no, let's main phase Sure Strike. What is that? Yeah, because you're making a whatever. Let's see. We could main phase it, and then it does become a forced block. So yeah, what cheese block is saying is it forces a chump with the lurker. So we'd be trading a Sure Strike for the lurker. I don't know if that's worth it. I kind of like Dragonfire on their upkeep on the Gaggle Master. Make them have that counter for that spot, and then untap with the Sure Strike play ready after that. I'm going to go with that play. Let's see if they've got it. Okay, no cancel, pause, or anything, so that sets us up for feeling much better about our Sure Strike play next turn. I liked the playing around cancel, though. Trying to find out anyway. Oh, well, Swooper. Does that change anything for us? Kind of not. I actually still like the Chorister Sure Strike play here, and see what we get out of that, and then swoop the turn after. Although they don't have any flying blocking, maybe I should just swoop. Yeah, no, never mind. I should swoop, send Hobble Fiend, and then we present lethal next turn. Yeah. In fact, this turn, right? We just present lethal with this turn. So let's see if they stop it. Yeah. I was getting a little too cute. Don't even need to sack, right? Because we have... oh, yeah, we need one sack to have... because now it's a 3, 4, 5, 6. They don't seem to be pausing at all. I think we've got this. I'm going to sack the Containment Priest. Boom! Exacxies. All right. Closing in on a week, on the win for the week. Finish. I always talk about how game 4s of best of 7s are the big swing game, right? So I win that one, I go up 3-1. I lose that one, we tie it up, right? It's always a very swingy result on that 4th out of 7. Good game, Magic Star. Yeah, I was worried you had. We found just enough to get there. Next up, Robert, aka Gargantuan. Yeah, we were worried about a cancel, so we were getting tricky with how we were approaching the Scorching Dragonfire and Sure Strike we had there at the end, trying to feel out for a cancel. All right, I don't love opening on Charger since it doesn't pump anything, but this is finally a nice keep, at least. A clear keep. And we still have the chance to find a different 1 or 2. Different 1 or 2. I mean, I guess it's not the same copy of that card. I'm going to play plain so we don't reveal our lack of a shock. Hey, darling, we are playing... Yeah, I'm battling... we drafted offline on a third-party site, and now I'm battling chat. Yeah, it worked. I was definitely concerned about what you might have on the full control bluff. Although full control bluffs don't signal counter magic, they signal trick or instant or something. But it did cause me to be very, very cautious in using that Sure Strike. Let's go ahead and Defiant Strike our Charger, Scorch theirs, and get in for good damage. We could just Defiant Strike and Sure Strike, but I want to get in for damage. And then we'll use the Sure Strike to get something bigger on defense later. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Let's see what else is here, though. Swoop, swoop, a swoop. Every Friday. And if you want to participate, you join our Discord and prove your mettle to my awesome mods who coordinate this. And when I say prove your mettle, I mean prove that you're not a jerk and prove that you're reliable. Oh, skill, it's not about skill here. Participation is not about skill. It's about demonstrating good standing in my community. Our community. Awesome, we get a Daybreak Charger that looks like we're just trying to offer the trade. They might not even take the trade because they will have, Robert will be able to block it naturally next turn. But if Robert does try to take the trade, we can Sure Strike. Since Robert hasn't, though, we're going to save the Sure Strike for next turn, even though we're telegraphing it a bit here. Robert may expect it coming up, but we're going to still make him come up with the block or come up with the answer. Always nervous about a plains. It could always be Feat of Resistance. Kind of want to take it with all this open mana. I think I'm going to take a turn off and try the Gaggle Master, see if it lands. If it does, great. And if not, next turn we have Battlements plus Sure Strike. Although we could play Battlements, and if they counter that, the Sure Strike is going to be good. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I changed my mind. because this is a good counter target if they've got a counter spell, and then the Sure Strike is good from there. Although they did not respond to that. I'm really nervous about all that open mana in this color pair. I think I'm gonna play Arsonist and pass. I'm scared. Scared of all this mana and cards. Great response to my fear, though, right? Robert had the frantic inventory to draw to, and I was hoping that by not doing anything, Robert would get no value out of his turn, but instead he did. Kind of like sending in the Arsonist alone. I gotta stop being afraid of this, though, I think. And try the Sure Strike play this time and follow up with Gaggle Master next if it doesn't work. Although I could still Gaggle Master now. That uses the most mana. Yeah, I'm going to Gaggle Master pass. See if this resolves. Is he going to get the Ancestral? Frantic Inventory Ancestral incoming? No. Acolyte is strong here, but Sure Strike is still enough. Ooh, and Swooper plus Sure Strike is great. I get to send one for easy peasy, and let's see, if we Sure Strike the Arsonist, it becomes a 4/1 first strike that gets hit by the crab, does one more point of damage, and doesn't do anything, so we leave the Arsonist back, but send... No, all attack isn't fine, because the Arsonist is just an easy eat, by my count. Oh, it's a 5/1? Wait. Oh, right, because of the battlements. Thank you. You can see where my math was just slightly off. So the Arsonist does work. Arsonist, with Sure Strike, trades for the crab, and without, trades for the Acolyte. Forgot my battlements. Good card. For aggro. Aggro go wide or aggro evasion. This is a totally reasonable double, but we just hope that it sets up the Swooper closing in for the rest. I liked the double that Robert had up. Yeah, I think you're on the right track there, Robert. This forces it to be a 2-for-1 for us, where we do get rid of your big blocker, but you get the most value out of your cards. So good block, Robert. Singer is nice. Answers the swooper, right? And we are going to just keep offering trades here. Going to send in everything and then drop doggy. If they have destroy tapped creature, that would be ideal for Robert, because then he gets to wipe out all of our attackers and all we're left with is Dogtown. Last sip of coffee. Mainly when battlements doubles the power of a creature, it's pretty impressive. So I've liked battlements a lot with the Sky Scanner and Arsonist and all these kind of 1-mana, 1/1, 1-mana creatures. Thank you, John. John subbed even though he lost to me today. How nice. I'd sub to John if I lost to him. All right, great. I was really hoping they didn't have the destroy tapped, and feeling a little better here. We'll see what comes of this.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs?
Wow, that was a hilariously accidentally timed screech.
My skills are age.
I actually didn't make that for using during play. I just made that sound effect for my starting song of the day gag. So my theme this week was songs with dog barking in them, songs with the dog cameos, and I thought I would fake Who Let the Dogs Out and then put in the record scratch and then switch to the song I really wanted to play, which was Jane's Addiction. So do we care about this? Unfortunate draw here. I guess my heuristic is go after the Planeswalker. I know it's we might just want to go for their life total, but well, Teferi, I mean, you could argue we don't, but they do get double loyalty activations each turn, so. Oh yeah, they can phase this out, right? Yeah. Sorry, I was not. The static got me when I wasn't looking. If you ignore the static, we don't care, right? But with the static, we do care because they can do the phase out here. But it's costly to do so. So make him do it. And yeah, do what I can here. Looks like we, this is a huge no action draw here. When a Planeswalker that can up each turn is out, you really need to apply pressure, and we have none. Yeah, my fear of Teferi was based on it activating once a turn, not twice. Twice a turn makes this scary. This is big trouble, though. We need a serious Teferi response right now, or we're kind of just dead. Yeah, I believe Teferi's commander Planeswalker, the Teferi planeswalker that can be a commander was the first one to do that? Well, this is good. The possibility of drawing 2 things to cast here might be the only thing that can get us out of this. I think you're safe, Robert. I think you stabilized, and I think we're dead now. Darn it. Almost had him, but he turned the corner on the back of a planeswalker. And is now wrecking us with the tutelage. I went 0-3 with tutelage. It did nothing for me. It was awful. We got rolled over. As I was sitting here trying to mill them out, I was getting smacked with 2-drops. But can't pull it off the other way, it seems. Yeah, this is done for. Yeah, but we can't learn anything from that. I'm responding to Razor pointing out that one of our tutelage losses was to tutelage. All right. The hat is up to try and keep y'all from losing the week. You need to win out to stop me. Can you do it? Let's find out. All right, how about a nice curve out aggro? Our openers have been really rough today. We've had a couple decent ones, but mostly I've been mulliganing. I would like a nice, on the play, brilliant aggro curve out. Here we go. All right. I got what I asked for. I got a second one time, everybody. This is a pretty big game. I want to see Mountain Shock, or I like our chances. Did Hat end up with the uncommon? We'll see. We're gonna sure strike that. Kind of has to go for the block. In that case, I think we just take the trade and I play Hobble Fiend. I didn't want to lose the Chorister, but I'm fine for trading off 3 ones. Sorry, but you'll lose with that play. Can't strike and thrill here unless we give up the Ogre. Let's go ahead and attack on 3 mana up, holding the strike. Telegraphing the strike. Ooze is scary and starts to get big here, but we get to drop an Ogre on this no block. and have some good tools to either out aggro the ooze or even just win combat with it. So they had an ooze activation there. Hat didn't activate ooze. I wonder why. Maybe just missed it. Ah, that's why. No, it wasn't a punt. Hat was waiting for the mentor so the ooze doubles. But I'm happy to race. This is great. Hat sending in ooze is fine with me. We have now added the term permitted turn leafkin. I don't know what why Twitter fears the leafkin, but yeah, this is interesting. What does this mean? Okay, now I want to go look at tricks. Somebody got the list of tricks. Yes, green instant speed. We got Titanic growth, return to nature, Ranger's guile, heroic intervention, which we did see. It might be heroic intervention, actually. Let's keep that in mind. I have him on heroic intervention myself. But, oh, we just have the wrong... the wrong color. I think... Right, but that's the reason I'm worried about what Hat has in hand, Adam, is specifically because with 4 points of extra damage, Hat did not do it, you know? But yes, Dragon Fire in response to the first activation is not enough, though, because they can just do the second. Remember, it makes the first one would try to put 2 counters on. We do the Dragon Fire, Hat responds with the second activation, and it's not enough. If we had 2 red sources, we could think of it that way. But what we're going to do here is just offer up an attack with not the Chorister, though, and then be willing to respond to whatever Hat does in response to this attack. And what we're going to do actually is what we're going to do in response is not kill the ooze. We're going to try and kill the mentor. And so firing the mentor here will allow them to get 1 double and 1 single. So it gets rid of this mentor that's going to be tough to deal with, and reduces the amount the ooze is going to get by 1. Could be hexproof here, though. Ranger's Guile was on our list of possibilities. I suppose it doesn't matter if we're going to get one or the other, right, Haj? Yeah, Haj is right. I could have played around the Guile by letting that first one happen, since we couldn't stop 2 counters. No matter what, Hat was going to get 2 counters out of 1 activation and 1 out of the other. So given that inevitability, we could have played around the Guile. And now with the creatures all gone, the ooze is stuck at 5 currently, which is good enough for Sure Strike to still get it done. And we are happy to race here, so we're going to just take this. Lots of life gain from Hat here. making this difficult. We could thrill, but we're gonna. I could thrill away a mountain, but I want the mountain for the sure strike. We could just swing in. Although if I'm gonna play the mountain, we'll just thrill later because having the threatened Coister activation now is pretty important. I'll remember that it's certainly possible. We saw a heroic intervention that we need to remember is in the pool of cards that we're up against today. We couldn't be telegraphing our sure strike more than if we tapped Hat on the shoulder and said, "We've got sure strike." But it doesn't matter. He knows it. We know it. Everybody knows it. It's just the trade that's happening. And really what Hat is doing here is forcing me to use the sure strike on the Gaggle Master instead of the ooze, and then the ooze can get bigger, etc., etc. But we could, yeah, actually what we could do, maybe we just we could 2-for-1 ourselves and just trade off the Gaggle Master for that way as well. That's a little too much. We still have to do this. I don't love it, but I think it's correct. And it certainly forces this ooze to stay back on D. Gets him to 5. Yeah, the trample was nice there, right, Haj? Virtual 6-6, though, kind of has us on pause. Let's see what we find off the top. Huh. Interesting. But not much we can do. Let's see, if we send in everything here... Yeah, now I just want to get even the Hobble Fiend in. Yeah, now we just send in everything, because if they let the Hobble Fiend go, we sack, win anyway. All right. Haj is being a very very subtle contributor today. They are at a virtual 6, though, with the ooze and 1 creature in yard. Feels like the Chorister is effectively a must block. Yeah, so then we are just going to try and win here. Although now I guess we can't win because they get actually 2 activations on the ooze. Oh, let's see. Yeah, this is so close. So close. But I'm going to let the Mauler and the Ogre trade. Shock and Response doesn't work because he can do it twice. So... yeah, always let your triggers resolve one at a time in spots like this so you don't set yourself up to accidentally lose. Pretty balmy bear, huh? We use Swooper yet? Forget all what's happened this game. Swooper would get us there. That's not the worst. Not really the best, though, but not the worst. Do we wait for another counter target? Nah, I think we just play this, and that ooze is just going to get big and big and big, and we're just trying to find a swooper to win, basically. We are not favored in the current board state, but I like our outs. I think we've got good outs to get there from here. Just got to fade this damage that's going to be coming in. I mean, I could shock that, and then the ooze gets to eat it. So I'm not going to shock it yet. We also just kind of want to go to the face with a win. So thrilling the land away here makes a lot of sense to me. Find some action. Containment Priest and shock and battle, like, let's instant speed, shock, and Containment Priest, and maybe we can kind of get there. Next turn, we'll see, with the battlements coming down. Especially if they keep attacking and maybe leave us a little wiggle room here. If they attack and don't add a creature to the board, our position gets a little better. Like, if they send Oak, and we shock the battalion, and they only have the ooze, and we add the Containment Priest, we may at that point be wide enough to get there. But really need Hat's hand to be pretty blanky right now. Blanky. Would you call that a blank? Blanky? It doesn't have a lot of rules text. It's mostly blank. We still just win off of a swooper, so we're kind of just hoping for that now. I'm not going to mess around, though, and not play the priest. And again, because shock plus swooper, although we don't need the swooper would do it without the shock. We could get rid of the battalion, but we have enough mana. It doesn't matter. Let's untap. Sure Strike plus shock plus. I don't know. We're still just trying to get there. Now the attack back is quite significant. Definitely going to play this battlements, though, right? Unless we need shock plus sure strike for some reason. If we shock the battalion... Now, I'm going to play battlements and see how frisky Hat wants to get on attacks. Basically, still just trying to play the swooper outs here with no reach on Hat's side. I will use Sure Strike defensively on a Dreadmaw if Hat decides to risk one of the big beefs, because Shock plus Swooper still gets us there. And we could even potentially end up doing a, all right, we, yeah, see, now I kind of want to shock the battalion and hope we can get wide enough here. I think I'm going to do that. We're going to go for it here because we're running out of time to leverage any kind of win line, you know? So basically, I'm going to shock the battalion under the idea that whatever we draw, we have to hope we have enough to get through and win next turn. So we're going for a in-the-dark game win here by clearing away a blocker. Trying to. And then hoping that whatever we draw plus Sure Strike somehow gets us there. Swooper! Swooper, I think, gets it done. Yeah, Swooper gets it done. Yeah, we might. Ooh, that's okay. That's something. But let's see. We have 3 attacks. All of them are 3 power. This is... Yeah, but the trouble is they have more fodder, more life gain fodder. So we're actually going to take it slow again. Declined to ooze there. Well, Hat has been sitting on 7 for quite a while. Yeah, I think a lot of it's land. I was going to say, there's definitely 1 land in there. Definitely. You know, I'm expecting 1 land in there at least. I mean, it's not like we flooded or anything. I was just hoping we would get lucky with some action. All right. The virtual life total for Oppo is 7. And it really stays at 7 because if we're trying to win off the Sure Strike, we're first striking... They block... They can block 3, only 1 gets through, and it's still not enough, right? Unless they leave one of the Hobble Fiends available, it's still not enough. So, boo, we're gonna continue to stay patient. But if Hat can brick a little bit, and if we can find just a touch of good action off the top, we've got a chance here. Just feel like we're kind of waiting to get the corner fully turned on us. Like, yeah, that's a problem with all that mana to pump with. Come on, deck. We got to get Hat. Lissai. It's Bad News Bears now, boys and girls, and everything you might identify. Oh, rough. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. Block sack stops lifelink, but that's not really a winning play. I kind of feel like we now need to go for Swooper. Just Swooper gets it done. And block 5. Wow, can pump twice, so it gets to be 7, which is still enough here, so we're going to do this. All right, had to do that, but it did take away our big trick that we were kind of keeping ourselves alive with. And we are going to... He only gave it because I already found the line. He's giving me correct lines I already found myself. All right, deck. Give us a swooper and let's turn the screws on Mr. Hat. Swooper. More hobblings. Well, it's something. Helps us keep going wide here. But attacking does not make sense yet. We could be dead here, though. Oh, this is rough. So burly! Swoop, swoop, swoop. Just keep trying to find our swooper to win. Nope. I know, we're both just on the edge. That's quite a beefy army Hat has got going. Don't attack yet! Don't! No! No! Alright. Alright. He's gonna be like that. So now we've got a forced block. And we're gonna make one chump. And take the other. Gosh. Trouble is, it again puts more stuff in the yard. He's at a virtual 9, which is, I guess with swoop, we swoop, get 4 in the air. Yeah, even that's rough. 5 in the air, 6, 7, 8, 9. Swoop could still do it. Yeah, we can't beat a I'm not playing around Titanic growth. I'm playing towards narrow outs to win with a swooper. So we're going to chump and hope we have a top deck swooper win still. Because if Hat has lands and we have a swooper on top, we play the land, swoop, attack with a 5 power flyer, and use the rest of our 4 mana to make it a 9 power flyer. So we do have an out to a win here, but we are at the literal last turn for getting out of this. Now we're just done. Now that if Hat has the cleverness to get some life, we're done for. All right, it's gonna be interesting. Looks like we're playing for 4 wins. The rubber match. It's going to 7, gang. It's going to 7. Yeah, I did miss sacrificing there. It didn't even matter. Like, our out was the swooper, and that was it. And whether sacking, it didn't matter either way. But yes, I should have. But it matters to remember those things. But definitely, I was in endgame head with swooper or bust, and nothing else really mattered. Probably would have caught that in a tighter game. Your game, Hat. Could not turn that, could not get you before you turn the corner. Thanks for that sub. I forget what's Haj's. Oh, it is just Haj. There it is. Oops, I don't want to chat. I want to battle. And another, I got my wish last time against Hat. Still didn't get there off of an incredible opener. But we're going to keep this on the strength of Chorister into Veteran and hope we find some red. Come on, deck. Mountain off the top, please. Hodge is hard enough to beat with a perfect draw. Not what we were looking for. I'm going to send in the Veteran. I think Hodge knows our deck, and this is a free block. But maybe he'll be... we could easily drop a mountain and follow up somehow. I don't know. I say easily. I'm just trying to make Hodge nervous, make him think about it. All right. Whew. That was a very important draw for having any hope around here. I like offering the Watchdog for anything, though, and then just dropping a Hobble Fiend. Yeah, Defiant Strike. Thanks. I didn't know what I was bluffing. I just knew I knew that it was perfectly safe for me to attack, and I hoped there would be a good reason for him to not block. He came up with the block, but yeah, it would have been fun to punish him with the Sure Strike, huh? Or Defiant Strike. So we could we could sack like the Chorister to get the counters going so that Veteran can start for 1 mana, making the Hobble Fiend quite big. But we have enough interaction that I think we should just accept this and untap. All right, perfect. Dragonfire plus Sure Strike here is pretty fantastic. And makes me want to send both, although we could Dragonfire. I'm going to Dragonfire the Ogre and then send in with everything. Hodge knows we have the Sure Strikes, but you go for it, buddy. If Hodge has the shock, we get blowout. We get blown out. But I've committed, so we're going to try it. The only bad draw in our deck are more 5s. I think we just have the flyer, though, right? I think we have one Pitchburn Devils and one 4/3 flyer. So 4/3 flyer, worst draw in our deck simply because it would mean we have nothing to do for the turn at all. Another Sure Strike. Is Hodge mono or... Can't get it out of range, so it is dead. Bye, buddy. Hardly knew ya. And really Unfortunately, Sure Strike not the best draw for us. That's pretty good, though. Now we have... can't really block the Chorister attack, and we could even send the Veteran, and then if he wants to pump block, we have the Sure Strike, but I'm going to send the obvious can't block this and then drop the Devils. So double pump means the Cur can be quite big. I like the Acolyte, but I'd rather have the Sure Strike here to blow out any Cur pumping that occurs. And then Sure Strike if needed, or drop the Acolyte. Interesting. So forces us into the Sure Strike play now, because if we go for the pump, he can repump for the trade. So I'm going to try Sure Strike, hope it works. Tough times for our friend Haj, but we're going to try and take advantage of it. Wow, there's the shock. Interesting. Must have just been drawn. I could have been blown out by shock in a couple of different spots here, so I just got lucky, frankly. But looks like it'll be enough, according to Haj. Full rubbins. Well, that one didn't work out for Haj. Clearly, I might have been mono red, but I imagine Haj failed to find a second color there, making it pretty easy for us to crawl to 4 wins. Haj is no easy out, let me tell you, so I'll take the little help I can get from the variance gods to knock off Haj. Yeah, so you got the Houndmaster. We had, well, I had a pick, Haj, where, let's see. Curious what you think. So at the time we were making this pick, we had a Tempered Veteran. We had 1 Alpine Watchdog, and we were clearly red-white, and we found we had a pick with the Houndmaster and the Acolyte. Thank you, Queen. Queen throwing around some gifts, subs, so nice. Thank you so much, Queen. Appreciate that a lot. But I'm curious, Haj, would you take Houndmaster or Acolyte in that spot? To me, it felt like Acolyte was actually more important for the strategy we were getting together. Oh, so it was early Pack 2. We were pretty settled into red-white, And the key cards that we had we were icicles at 1 and 2, but mainly we had 1 watchdog, no curs, and 1 tempered veteran. So we had a tempered veteran and a watchdog, and we were clearly red white, and the pick was first acolyte or first houndmaster. No, maybe we both passed it and then somebody else took it then? I was wondering if you ended up with the Houndmaster. Interesting that we were both red-white right next to each other in the draftage, but it worked out. We both had good-looking decks. Well, half of your deck looked good. I don't know what your white cards were. Well, I was hoping that was our plan. See, that was our thought in the moment, Haj. Like, we could really, and also, I mean, Acolyte is just so important, especially with the tempered veteran. But there was vigorous debate in chat as to whether the correct pick was Acolyte or Beastmaster, Houndmaster there. And one of the thoughts was, if literally nobody else is in Boros, it might wheel, was our thinking. Yeah, no, we didn't take that mentor. Anyway, good times. Let's go back here to soapbox mode. And we'll say goodbye to our YouTube friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, YouTube buddies. Glad you could stick around till the very end. And we'll catch you next week for some more drafting. Bye.